What up? Dathan here. This video is per request from Coach Dave Dunham. Put me in, Coach. I feel like Brian Scalabrine. Yeah, so the question comes up like, I'm thinking about switching to fully remote, not even going back to the gym. Has anybody had experience with this, and what has your experience been? So luckily, I did this a year ago, and I can tell you all about it. So what I want to do is I want to kind of share with you where I was at when I made that decision, how I went through the transition, and what I would do differently. Yeah, and hopefully it's helpful. Do not take business advice from me, but I can at least share my experience with you, and maybe this will resonate. So when I got to the place where, first of all, I think if we're going to talk about this question, like when I hear somebody say, should I go fully remote? Like, to me, don't be offended, but that's a dumb fucking question. Like, I'm operating under the assumption that you and I get it, man, because I love my gym. I love what it was, and it hurt to a certain extent, and I'll explain how I felt. But ultimately, like, I'm going to operate under the assumption that you and I open our business for the same reasons, right? But just in case we're not crystal clear on that, let me articulate that I got into a fitness business because fitness saved my life. Fitness gave me something an opportunity in my life that I would have never had. And I started exercising in prison because I was scared and weak and alone, and it gave me a place to put my obsession. And I got my trainer's certification like the same day I got off parole. And then I was a personal trainer, and this was the first time in my life that I didn't have to swing a hammer or dig ditches, and I loved it. And I was like mildly engaging, and I thought that translated to like knowing how to sell and how to market and how to fulfill. And it happened so fast. I went from like parole, making sandwiches at Jimmy John's, to being a trainer, to opening my own gym, like in 18 months. I had no context for it, no experience for it. All I knew is that opening my gym was the next step in improving the quality of life of me and my family, and it was something that I didn't really understand. And, Alex, I haven't heard him say it for a while, but he says it quite often, or he used to, like, the thing about gym launch is that once you start, you no longer have this mystery of, like, what's a system, and, like, how do I market and sales? Like, the mystery's gone, the veil's been pulled back, and then it's just the realization that either you want to do the work or you don't, right? And what I came into this for, why I started my business, was so that I could do the thing that I loved, share with other people what had saved my life, and the universal exchange rate for that should be abundance in my life, right? If I help other people save their life, then the universe is going to reward me, right? Sorry. Then the universe is going to reward me. And I just thought that being, a nominally proficient personal trainer who could engage people in a group setting was the same thing as owning a business, and it was not. And I don't know. I was ill-equipped for the task that I took on. I was not ready. And then I got to a place where I realized what was required to get what I wanted, because what I want is freedom and abundance, right? What I want is to fucking not have stress and worry, Like, I don't want to have to think about whether or not I'm going to pay a bill, or if I want to go to fucking California because it's cold in Illinois, I just want to do it, Like, that's a level of freedom that no one in my family, looking back generations, has ever known. And I can't even talk to them about it. They don't get it, but that's what I have to have. And when you come to that realization that there is no mystery, there's just a bunch of skills that you don't have, there's a huge gap between where I was when I realized it, when I heard Alex say that, and where I needed to get what I wanted, which was freedom. And there was a bunch of shit in the way that I did not care about. For example, I do not care if my client is going on vacation, she has to go on hold. I don't care if she doesn't know how to use FitnessPal. I don't care if her drunk ass son, I just don't give a fuck. I can't bring myself to give a fuck about that dumb shit 7 hours a day. I can't, because it's in the way of what I want. But my mindset around it, even though I knew I was struggling in my business, even though I could see what I needed to do, and I was being faced with this glaring realization that the biggest issue in my life was me, which is great if you could just go and work on yourself and start to, build the skills and develop that. But I'm already in the shit. I already have a location with 150 people and a bunch of trainers that depend on me for a paycheck. I'm already in the shit. So I don't got time to unpack my baggage and to develop these skills. Whatever. Maybe you're better than I am. Maybe you've already got it down. Hey, maybe you're the one. But I'm not. And I don't want to be. I don't. You know what I really like? I like seeing when Janet texts me and she says, "I can't believe this is working." You know, well, I like it when Janet sends me a picture and she says, hey, I haven't worn this dress since I was married, you know? And I was like, yeah, that's why it's got shoulder pads, Janet. You know, like that feels good. I do not give a fuck about like whether or not you work out at 5 in the morning or 7 at night. I don't care, you know, like I'm here to coach you and help you build a better lifestyle. And so to get to what I wanted, to get to be able to be at a place where I do what I love, to receive the abundance that I'm looking for, I had to admit first that I was horribly ill-equipped, and then I just, like, exactly like Alex says, you just realize that you want to do the work or you don't, and I did not want to fucking do the work because I don't care about these people in my gym. Like, I care about them as clients, but I don't, like, want to see them. Like, you don't got to come here. Like, there's got to be a better way. But unfortunately, until hybrid came along, and I will call it hybrid because I will not call it remote just to pander to your weaknesses and fears. I think hybrid sounds cooler. I think you guys were all silly for getting freaked out about it. It's simple fucking math, man. Anyways, we'll get there. So yeah, unfortunately, even though I came to that realization like 2 years before I transitioned to a hybrid model, it was still my best option. You know, it was still my most viable option. So when hybrid came along, now there was an actual alternative. Now there was a way to get what I want without having to. It's not that I don't want to develop the skills of leadership and being a manager, being a coach. I just would like to eat and fucking have a nice car first, you know? Like, we'll get there. There's got to be a faster route. What if you could gut? What if you could pull out all the operational complexity? What if you could remove all the cancerous shit that you hate about your business? Because if you're asking this question, you're not asking whether or not you should move to hybrid. What you're looking for is justification and validation, right? That's what you're looking for. Because you already know that it has less operational complexity. You already know that you didn't think about what it was going to be like dealing with these shitty ass clients sometimes. And maybe it's not like that for you, but for me, it was not fun, you know, because whatever your business gave you, it didn't give you freedom. That's for damn sure. And I don't know, maybe you're the one. But also try to thought here. Yeah, so like, you know that with remote training, with hybrid, you don't have to keep people employed all day. Right now, you don't even have to have a facility. It's easier now. It's better now. Like, so when you're asking this question, you already know that you're going to have a higher profit margin, less stuff to manage, fewer people, less overhead, less payroll. So why are you, if I'm operating under the assumption that you and I got into this for the same thing, then why are you asking the question? You know, of course, do it, right? So if you're asking that question, it's not because you know whether or not you want to know whether or not you should do it or if it's going to work. You just don't want to confront all the inconvenient little shit, like looking at Janet in her face and saying, sorry, we're not going to do workouts anymore. And honestly, it's so much easier right now than what it was a year ago. Like, the perception is so much better because you have a good excuse. So when I transitioned to hybrid, I did exactly what, I think some of my videos are in the portal. I sat down and I sold them into remote. And like, they were all there, they gave it a shot, but I failed to fulfill, you know? And I made a few mistakes that I would have done differently. Number one, I would not have been scared about the cancellations, right? I would have just cut hard, cut deep. And if somebody was going to cancel or somebody was going to throw a fit, I would have managed that the best that I could, and I would have focused on the people that were giving me a shot. Because if I would have not spread myself so thin, then I would have retained a lot more of those clients. Number two, you need to be emotionally okay. Like, you know that if you cut these sessions and if you don't have people come back in, yes, some people will quit, but they don't got a lot of options right now. When I did it a year ago, they went to another gym a block away that my brother opened. Like, they were with the same trainer, you know, like it was no different for them. I didn't really have a good excuse for why I was doing it, and it was a hard sell in a lot of ways. And I think people saw transparency; they just saw that I didn't want to do it anymore. You don't have that issue. Right? You don't have that problem. Like, nobody's going to blame you if you say, look, it's not feasible. Your gym is still 100%, so how are you going to make money at 25% capacity? Like, you watch some videos that dude posts, like, it's true, you know? Like, it's not true. And you have an opportunity here where you can just cut the bullshit and actually get what you want. Because that's what this is about. It's about getting what you want, right? And unless that's what you want, if you want to be worried about whether or not somebody showed up at 5 a.m. to do the workout, or who missed the measurements, or so-and-so's got a hold, or she doesn't like the new trainer, or whatever, if that's what you want, then keep running the gym. But that's not what I want. But then what that requires is for you to have the uncomfortable conversation. So if I could do it again, sorry, I'm trying to stay on track here. If I could do it again, I would cut harder and cut deeper. One of the biggest mistakes I made was trying to stay with some semblance of a semi-private schedule. Really, I just wanted to fulfill on paid in fulls without getting people upset at me. And even like up until Corona, there still made a lot of sense to keep a physical location so that you could command a higher price, because when they came into your studio, it implied fitness. And then I would just price them out of, I don't know, somebody's gonna pay me $100 a week for 16 weeks to show up 3 times a week in a group setting. Fuck it, I'll do that. I can do that. But I don't want to be a trainer, really. I'd rather, like, that was all meant, they were meant to be in my studio, tell me that they couldn't afford the group training so that they would sign up for the remote, where my margin and my life is better, You don't have that problem now, right? If I were doing this today, I would cut deep, I would cut hard, nobody cares. Your staff understands, you are a small business owner, you can just tell them, listen, like, look, there's no way I'm gonna be able to support you guys in the way that I did before, because you probably weren't doing, it was probably hard anyways, right? 10% margin, like what? I can't do this anymore. So, guys, you're not gonna wanna come in. It's gonna be 4 people that blow your phone up about, I thought you were gonna open back up when they said you could open up. Fuck them. Fuck them. It is not your obligation to be their social event. That's not what you signed up for. So let them go and sign up 30 people. Because dude keeps saying go all in on remote, and what you hear is, oh, I'll just sell remote until the gym opens up. But what he's saying is go all in on remote. If I could do it again, I would cut deep and I would cut hard without remorse. If I could do it right now, nobody would blame me. You don't need to keep a studio right now because the implication of fitness is understood. Everybody's adapted to the remote setting. There's no reason why you shouldn't do it. I don't know what I'm supposed to say here. There's no reason why you shouldn't do it. What are you talking about? Unless you like it. Maybe it was better for you than it was for me. Maybe, I don't know. I don't think so. We could never, how could it be? I don't get it. The reason why you struggle with it is because you don't want to go through the uncomfortable. In my mind, I felt like I failed because my gym never turned into what I wanted it to be. But who cares? I truly believe that if I would have stayed persistent, eventually I would have put all the pieces together. But you're looking at 2 or 3 times as long to get what I want, which is freedom. And if it's still about getting what you want, go all in on remote. Nobody's gonna blame you. You have to accept it. Have an honest conversation with yourself. There is absolutely no reason why you would ever go back into a gym, in my mind. That's how I feel about it. There's no reason. And I was even still making this mistake because I had moved locations to a smaller studio so that I could sell out of, and I was still personally training 2 or 3 times a week. So I'm doing this right now. If at 12 weeks into this pandemic you haven't shown enough value to your clients to do online training, then that's the problem. You should have over-delivered by now. And if there's 2 or 3 that are gonna blow your phone up, that's fine. But you need to get your emotions out of it and look at what's really going on. By now, I don't know. If you have any other questions, comment. I don't see what the issue is. I hope I've been convincing. If I could do it again, and what I'm doing right now is I'm cutting hard, I'm cutting deep. I have no more liabilities. No one else is depending on me for an income. I don't have a studio to pay rent for, and I have all my clients paying me directly. And I'm a fitness professional that actually helps people. And I feel good about it. That's the key thing. I feel good about what I do. That's the key thing. And just as an aside, that dude that you listen to all the time, the one that used to have a mustache, this dude will bleed for you, man. He's on your side. If he's telling you something, it's because he wants to see you succeed. Like, he's with you, dude. Alex and Layla are with us. They believe what we believe, right? This is our tribe. Listen to them. Listen to what they're actually saying. They're going to bleed for you. That's it. If you have any other questions, let me know.